Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. I wanted to talk to you about homestead medical stuff. That's an area that I wouldn't call myself an expert, but definitely quite knowledgeable in, mostly because I've done it for years, medical stuff. I've worked in and out of the medical field and currently a volunteer as a medical first responder, doing training and actual taking emergency calls on a very regular basis. And so it's a big focus for our group as medical. And I've said for a very long time that medical is going to be something that's going to bite you in the hind end if you don't have what you need and the knowledge and the training, the skills that you need. And it's not just for when the doo-doo hits the fan, folks. It's all the time. You know, out here where we live, for those of you that are homesteaders or want to kind of get out and away, medical services aren't as available as what you folks live in the cities and the suburbs are used to. You call 911, we try to get there as fast as we can, but depending on the scenario, depending on where you're at, depending on the weather, it could be quite a long time. And so you need to be able to take care of things on your own as best as possible, which is why we do community education events here locally. And some of the reasons are, well, I mean, there's many. There's all kinds of things that happen on a homestead that you could get hurt. Think about that. And that's during normal-ish life, where, you know, you're not out there surviving for your life. When it gets to the point, and it's possibly could happen, that you are really surviving, you know, you're having to go and gather water, and you have to burn to heat your home and to cook, and you're out patrolling and you're out taking care of things around the home, not because you choose to, but because it's the only way you can survive. You're going to be doing things a lot more. You're going to be stressed. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to get hurt. So whether it's now or in the future, understanding medical, having the equipment to do medical, and the knowledge and the skill is going to be really important. Over on my locals channel, if you're not familiar with it, there's always a link down below. I'll try to leave one also in the pinned comment, but it's always in the description. I regularly do what I call the Homestead Medical Responder, and I give tips and all kinds of stuff, show you gear and things. I mean, this isn't some kind of certified class, but it's to give you some knowledge, because based on what I deal with all the time, and to help you along the way. You can get classes. There's all kinds of professional type classes, but you can also contact your local fire departments, your county hospitals. A lot of times maybe even community colleges, a lot of times they offer classes, and especially your fire departments and hospitals, they may not have a class that is what you want, but if you tell them, say, hey, you know, we've got 5 or 10 people that want to take this class or want to learn how to do this or that, it's possible they may throw something together for you. I want to show you, and I'm not selling anything, so don't think that, oh goodness, here's another one of them YouTubers trying to sell me some gear. I don't sell any of this stuff. I can tell you pretty much everything in this bag you could probably buy on Amazon, but of course there's other places that you can get it also. But I want to show you a kit that's more specialized. Now you're familiar with, and when I said that you could call your fire department or your hospitals and stuff, they may be able to put together training for you, even if they don't regularly offer it, to use this stuff. You're familiar, obviously, with your first aid kits, with your individual first aid kits, your IFAKs. That's what you carry on your person, small. This is more specialized. This bag here is something that we put together and carry, and I'll show you here in just a second. This specifically deals with falls, with joint injuries, with bone, stabilization, broken bones, C-collar, cervical spine, stabilization, immobilization. That's what this whole bag is. And so this is a specialized bag just for that. And it's something that we mostly put this together. You can buy kits kind of like this, but like I said, you can easily go online and buy a lot of these components for not too much money. and have it. Now, if you have a some type of mag or prepper group or something like that, homestead group, whatever, as a group, this would be a great thing for you to put together. Even if you just had one, kept it in a central location, or maybe there's someone in your group that's kind of the primary medical person. Something like this is going to be important, because let me tell you, before we get into this bag, as a first responder myself, aside from medical calls due to illnesses like heart-related, circulatory, stroke, respiratory, things like that, typically the other type of medical calls that we get most of is injuries, bone, joint falls, that kind of stuff. And it's because of the lifestyle out here. You know, you're falling off a tractor, you're cutting a tree and it hits you, you fall out of a tree, or you fall off a ladder. You know, you're doing these kinds of things and you've injured your arm, your leg, your neck, you know, whatever it is. And so you know, it needs to be stabilized. That's the first thing. And so that's what this bag here is. And so I'm going to actually flip the camera around here in just a second and show you. But this bag, you can get, this would be typical, the bag itself, not the contents. The bag itself would be fairly typical of what you would find for to carry oxygen. That's kind of what this bag is, where you'd have an oxygen bottle in here and you'd have oxygen supplies. So if you got a bag kind of like that, you could certainly set it up in the way that you see here. And we're going to get in here and get into some details and show you. And having specialized bags, you know, I've advocated for years that every home, every prepper home should have a medical bag, probably set up similar to what an EMT or a first responder or a paramedic, you know, a trauma field bag. And then, of course, you have your small little IFAKs, something you'd carry in your car, carry on your person when you're out on your gear. Then you should have a kind of a supply room like you would your food, where you can go and resupply that, because, you know, doo-doo hits the fan, you may not be able to get resupplies when you use it. But then having specialized bags, having a special trauma bag, something that focuses on a specific area. You know, in my vehicle, I have a birthing bag. If we go out on a call and someone's having a baby, I have a bag, and most of my bags are all color coordinated. You see, this is bright orange. I have a blue one, I have a red one, I have a green one. The birthing bag is pink, so that, you know, if we're on scene and I tell one of my guys, go get the pink bag, go get the orange bag, go get the blue bag. And that way it's very distinct, and each bag has a specific purpose. I may have one bag that's kind of a general, you know, bag, and then I have, you know, like an oxygen one is green, and anyways. So the bags, you know, you can do what you want, but just kind of giving you an idea of how we do it here. So I'm gonna actually flip the camera around and just focus in on what the contents are to kind of go over that with you. All right, so here we have our splinting, immobilization, stabilization bag, and we're going to go through it. It's got several little pockets. This bag pairs up really well with the backboard. You know, every prepper group, whatever homestead group, should have at least a backboard also, and they're not terribly expensive either. So in our front pouch, it's mostly, we have these C-collar, and again, these are something that you can purchase on Amazon. There are other places, and the reason why, and I'm not an advocate necessarily of Amazon, it's just that you can get pretty much everything on Amazon. And when it comes to medical supplies, remember this, with, you know, Amazon, Walmart.com, places like that, you can find most of the stuff that you need on there. You're going to pay a little higher price for it because you're buying it individually. If you go on, excuse me, more medical focused websites, a lot of times if you buy, say, maybe a dozen of these, you can get the price down. So if you go at it as a group, which is some of the stuff that we do, and purchase a group amount, a dozen of them or a whole case of something, you can get the price down. But anyway, so we've got some C-collars here. Most of you are familiar with what these are. We use these a lot. Vehicle accidents, falls, any kind of trauma that we suspect there could even possibly be, maybe even possibly be neck trauma, this is what we use. And, you know, you don't have to use this brand. This is just a common. There's nothing special about it, but there's that. We also have some SAM splints. You can get these in rolls or flat like this. This is the stuff that's the aluminum that's covered in foam, so you can bend it, mold it. And this is probably the next most common thing that we would use out of this bag are these SAM splints, because they're so convenient. As you see here in the picture, you can use them on, you know, hands, wrists, legs, knees, anything like that, because you can mold them, you can cut them real easily with trauma shears. So this pouch right here is going to be our go-to stuff. This is the stuff that we're going to use primarily the most. Going into this big bag here, this is where you get into more of the more serious immobilizing and splinting. We have these, and they come in all different sizes and shapes, but it has a thick, rigid kind of cardboard inside of it, and then it's got padding on it, and these can be reused. So these SAM splints, for the most part, these are not really reusable. Once you bend them and cut them and everything, you throw them away. But something like this can be sterilized, wiped down, and reused. And so we have a few of those that they can be used to stabilize a leg or an arm or something. Then we have various cardboard, and these are specifically made for immobilizing. Like this here, you put an arm in it, and you can immobilize an arm, a leg. We've got some bigger ones. There's actually 3 different sizes here inside this bag. So, and again, this stuff is not expensive, and you can order it, put it in a bag here, and you've got it set up and ready to go. Over here we have kind of your ACE style bandage. Your elastic bandages are right here. We've got several different sizes that we would go in there, and we would use those in conjunction with these or maybe the SAM splints. But it's all right there and available. Opening up this pouch here, this is where we have just dressings. You would also at times use different various gauze dressing. This here is probably the stuff that we use the most when it comes to dressing. I'm not telling you have to buy it, but we use this stuff a lot. We use it on burns, we use it on various injuries. A lot of times it's just because it's really long, you know, it's 4 yards long, so we'll use this to wrap something around the person to stabilize it. You use it a lot. I mean, just a lot. So I would recommend that everyone gets something like this. Anyways, moving on. Pouch over here. Here we have some markers, because you should always carry some markers with you. You never know what you need to write down, mark down, make a note. If you put it on the split, you may make a note there of the time that you put it on, so when they get to the hospital, they know when it's there. If you need to make any other kind of notations, you may need to, make a circle around the swelling mark, so that when they get there, they can see if the swelling has gotten worse or better. Of course, you have some trauma shears in here. There's some emergency blankets in there, the little foil ones, and then a whole bunch of tape, okay? Because you're going to need it to tape things up. Maybe tape the SAM splint on, or tape one of these on. So we have plenty of that in there. That's that bag, that pouch. And then finally, this one here in the back, we've got some more of the reusable boards here. They got the little foam on them, and they're very rigid. And then we also have a couple of tractions. Again, you don't have to use this kind of stuff. You don't have to purchase it. These here are probably the most expensive component of this bag. I haven't priced them recently, but I know that these are, you put them all together, and it's to stabilize a leg, okay? I'm not going to pull them out and put it together, but I think one of these, here. You're probably familiar with seeing something like that. So, someone's out in the woods, hunting, camping, hiking, whatever, and they break a leg. We can immobilize it with this traction. to help get them out. This is, I think, if I remember correctly, that's everything. But it should give you an idea of something as a group, a prepper group, homestead group, whatever, or just your family, that you should probably think about and kind of strive for, because these injuries that you would need any of these items. You don't need them all for any one injury. You can cover many different types of injuries out of this bag. But the contents of this bag are going to be commonly used in the common types of injuries and trauma that you would face living on the homestead, farming, SHTF, all this kind of stuff. And again, most of the items in this bag, in fact, I would guess most of the items like this, your bandages and gauze and stuff, are probably more expensive or less expensive, I'm sorry, than the bag itself. The seat collars, they can be, anywhere between $5 and $10 a piece. And then, of course, you have your traction units. But everything else is relatively inexpensive. And it's something that's very critical. And here's the other thing. The learning how to use this stuff that's in here, it's not difficult. This is not a difficult, type of training to learn how to use these items. So it's not something that you have to go through many, many hours to learn how to, splint a leg. I mean, they teach this kind of stuff in Boy Scouts. So this here, I think, is a very critical type of medical bag, specialized medical bag, that probably you should all be thinking about adding to your supplies, because these types of injuries are extremely common when you're farming, homesteading, living out in the woods, living a little bit more natural lifestyle, and it's going to become even more common when it hits the fan. All right, folks, you need to get your houses in order. Prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.